Hello everybody, welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel, and I hope you're all having a wonderful start to your new year. Happy New Year to all of you people. You guys are awesome. Thank you for supporting me as long as you have, and thank you for watching all my stuff and my videos and my streams. And we also hit 500 followers over on Twitch. So hooray for that. I've been doing a lot of streaming over on Twitch lately, playing Diablo, and I'm discovered that I am addicted to Diablo. Like really badly addicted to Diablo. Like I want to play it all the time. I've decided to restrict myself to 3 hours a night. I'm gonna go from 9 to 12:30, 3.5 hours a night. That's more than enough. I was staying up till like 2:30 in the morning, like playing, and yeah, it's I am not capable of like functioning on 4 hours of sleep. So we're just gonna limit ourselves to that, and maybe if I wake up early enough, I will give myself an hour or so of Diablo in the morning. But yeah, I am supremely addicted to Diablo. I'm having a lot of fun with my one character right now, and then apparently it's best to create a character every season, which makes sense. Hey, Blake Star. Oh, the lights are out. Duh. Stupid me. I thought I turned them on. Or is the camera not cameraing? There we go. How's that? How is that? Hopefully that's working. Where am I here? So yeah, I apparently it's best to create a new character every season. So right now I've got a rogue going, and I helped somebody do some pit runs the other night. He's like, "Okay, you just stand here, don't move, or they'll kill you instantly." And he like cleared this pit, and my levels just were like going up and up and up and up and up. And I'm like, okay, I'm cool with this. It was really it was awesome. All fixed. All right. Good. Happy days. Happy days. So yeah, but I will be doing some Diablo streaming over on Twitch later. But right now we've got some videos to watch. Um, we've got a whole bunch of things going on. Sam Hyde. I watched the video that he did to Elon Musk, and I'm not gonna say that he was wrong, because a lot of the stuff that he had to say was correct. The amount of people that are like, "This is a Nazi dog whistle. This is so bad. This is like Destiny." Basically, spent an entire video calling Sam Hyde a neo-Nazi. And like I'm not the biggest Sam Hyde fan by any stretch of the imagination, but he wasn't far off the mark here, and it's really weird to see Elon Musk getting as political as he has been. It's just very strange to me to listen to a like this big nerd talk about politics, and like I don't know. I thought the Sam Hyde video was was well done. There's not much I disagree with in that video. It's a long watch. It's a 46-minute video. But at the same time, I think it was a good video. I watched along with Asmongold, and a lot of his chat was oh, this is neo-Nazi alt-right bullshit, and it was really weird to listen to. But yeah. So yeah, that's my opinion on the Sam Hyde thing. And I've been watching Elon Musk, like his Twitter, to see if he would respond. I haven't seen a response from him, which I don't know if he's watched the video or what, but I would have thought that he would have done a response or something, just because it's a pretty strong message that Sam Hyde had for him. And it was well put together. Like, for somebody that's a shitlord, edgelord, shitposter on, comedian, that video was pretty well assembled, I think. And I'm surprised that's with the amount of engagement that video has had, that Elon Musk hasn't responded in some capacity. So, yeah, for me, that's very odd. And I don't know if Elon will respond. I think he should, but I don't know if he will. Happy New Year, Michael. How are you doing today? And how are the chickens? I hope the chickens are also doing well. So, that's my position on the Sam Hyde video, having watched it already. So let's see here. I think oh, you had your birthday on the 31st. Well, happy birthday. I hope it was a good birthday. I really do. So our first video is yellow paint in video games needs to stop. Now this, I didn't know this.
Mouse, please.
Mouse, please? Okay.
Because, yeah.
I didn't know this, but apparently yellow paint is what's used to show people where to go in video games.
Yellow paint, flashing markers, any kind of really stupid, annoying thing really sucks. I watched this video already, so I kind of understand. I understand the outrage.
Okay.
To a point. It's kind of annoying because it does do one giant thing. It would be the equivalent of you trying to walk somewhere and then suddenly a buzzer goes off to tell you there's a door next to you.
Oh, God.
Like, not the natural sounds of the environment, nothing like that.
Just...
Yeah, just out of nowhere.
That would piss me right off.
Would it keep you immersed in the game?
No.
Okay, so that's where we're going. That's kind of what that's what this is having to do with. Because it's a pretty good breakdown. It's a pretty good explanation of the outrage a lot of us have, or a lot of us don't realize that we had. Because it's something that you don't know, that people don't realize, is like, I had it a lot in Wolverine. Like, there was a lot of it where it was like, okay, because it's the open world. It's a guided open world concept. Mm-hmm. It's like when you were playing Crash Bandicoot and a giant arrow appears over your head.
Oh, that would be annoying.
Yeah, so.
See, like in Diablo, it just says door. It doesn't make...
It should say door left, door 12 o'clock. It should give you chronological It should actually give you chronological.
Well, it only says door if you're on the door. So if you're on the door, it will say door, bottom button, interact.
Is it Hodor?
Haha.
You have no idea who Hodor is, do you?
No.
Hodor is a Game of Thrones thing. That's why we don't know it. Because it's Game of Thrones.
Because Game of Thrones sucks.
Shh.
Well, it does.
Want to get sit?
You're
on big screen, little window now.
Okay.
Oh, you should actually put it on theater mode.
Oh.
Since you don't, that way it gets rid of the whole column now.
Where are we here? So, yeah, Game of Thrones to me is Lord of the Rings with gratuitous sex. Keyshawn! Thanks, it was silly hats and all. Oh, good, Michael. I'm very glad. I'm very, very glad. So yeah, we're going to learn about the flashing markers in video games.
It's time to stop!
If you've played a video game in the last decade, there's a good chance that you've bore witness to an infectious plague, a dreaded epidemic that spread faster than the T-virus, a rat tsunami, or even cordyceps.
Oh god, I like the gaming reference.
I, of course, can only be referring to one thing. The relentless, merciless, and unforgiving yellow paint.
I'm so glad that I'm blind and don't have to see this shit.
And I'm not the only one who's noticed either. The internet has lit up in response to bucket loads of canary being splashed all over our favourite game worlds. And no mantle point, ladder, or breakable object is safe. But how has this trend happened? And, more importantly, what can we do to stop it? I got a lead UI designer and creator of the game UI database to help make sense of this yellow madness.
See, this is gonna be really interesting for me because I can't obviously see the yellow, the flashing stuff. And for me, something like what I have in Diablo with the navigation assist, with that pulsing tone, is helpful for me, but it's not like a gigantic flashing light that's yellow.
And hopefully provide an alternative solution to the glossy paint assault.
Why would everything be painted yellow? Who's doing this?
Let's go solve this mystery.
The yellow paint complaint isn't a new argument, but the last couple of years have seen it rise to prominence. Both 2023's Resident Evil 4 and 2024's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth stoked the online debate, with everyone from your average gamers to AAA developers getting involved. The trope of using lashings of yellow paint to guide players along their journey had been well and truly highlighted.
See, and I never knew that was a thing until I saw the beginning part of this video, because I did a pre-watch real quick. And I didn't know that you guys had to deal with this horrible flashing yellow.
Well, it's not really like flashing yellow. For instance, this is one. Is this Drake? No.
Final Fantasy Rebirth, I think he said.
Whatever it is, okay? So going up, it says this way with a big arrow. Another perfect is Arkham Asylum. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Game I play with the kids right now, right? We're playing Arkham Asylum.
Right.
That shit's fucking everywhere. Go this way to deal with the Joker. Go this way to deal with the Riddler. Go this way. It's like you can't. It doesn't. Doom did it best where it didn't have that shit, but then Doom had it as well. It's So you remember the weights you were hearing from like power from the press and curl and shit from clean and press?
Yeah.
I just pulled up the women's.
Yeah.
215 pounds.
That's pretty good for a woman.
I'm just saying.
But there's no difference between a man and a woman, right?
Then. And I wrongly assumed that we'd likely seen the end of it. That was until I began playing A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead.
Dude, they made a video game out of A Quiet Place, oh god.
What started out as a surprisingly decent adaptation of the popular movie series with an interesting take on Alien Isolation's hunter gameplay system was quickly tainted when I began to notice ungodly amounts of the yellow stuff in every interactable area you could imagine. Mantle surfaces, markings for where planks of wood had to be dropped, and even a placement area for a crate of beer.
Drop it here, stupid. Drop it here, stupid. That's what that says to me.
Seriously, we're all covered in the stuff. I went from moderately enjoying my time with the game to once again obsessing about a developer's UI decisions.
What is wrong with me?
Side note here, you can actually disable the paint in the options, but by default the game is covered in yellow.
Okay, that would really piss me off. And if you didn't know you could disable the paint, like, that would just drive me nuts if I had to deal with that.
Gunk.
Just like, if, like, you don't have to have the navigation assist on if you don't feel like you need it. Like, that pulsing tone. But I definitely need it.
It feels fair game. I really hoped that A Quiet Place would be the fluorescent finale for the trope. And then, well, Stalker 2 arrived. And although not as egregious as A Quiet Place, it too is very liberal with the amount of magical guiding yellow muck it lashes all around its world.
Yeah, Asmongold mentioned that, because I grabbed this video, Yes, I grabbed this video from the description of Asmongold's video because he was reacting to this, but I wanted to hear the original one itself. And he said, yeah, that Stalker 2 had the yellow in it.
Yellow paint then, it appears, is here to stay.
Sick of this. I'm sick of all of this!
But why? I needed answers from someone who knew exactly why developers turn to yellow paint time and time again. And so I got in touch with UI designer Ed Coates to find out more.
Oh, cool. He actually interviewed somebody to find out why they do this.
It really is this sort of like Darwinistic kind of cycle where if it's successful, it will carry on being used. It's one of those cases where a lot of people are now noticing it, and because they notice it, it's annoying them.
Ed is a lead UI designer at Radical Forge, developers of Southfield and Brightport. Ed is also the creator of Game UI Database, a free resource for UI and UX designers to search for reference material and inspiration. UI, UX, what does this all mean to the average gamer though? And how does that relate to yellow paint in video games?
What's it all mean? What's the point?
User interface, or UI for short, generally means the interactable graphic design that you see on pause menus, skill trees, button prompts, and other similar things.
Okay.
User experience, or UX, on the other hand, broadly refers to taught gameplay behaviors that help you progress through a game's environment.
Oh, okay. I see now. That makes sense to me. I understand. For a bit there, like, I don't know much about anything when it comes to, like, programming stuff. So, like, I barely understand this shit.
Yellow paint, annoyingly, for clarity's sake, sits somewhere between the two.
The lines are so blurry between everything. It's not as simple and cut and dry as just like UX being behavior and UI being menus buttons. It's basically a solution to a problem. Because that problem can be solved either in a menu or diegetically in the world itself, whatever we do in the world itself can also be considered a form of UI. A friend of mine once said UIX, and I think I'm sort of inclined to agree with that.
User interface experience, yeah. That would make the most sense.
Sounds good to me.
It's hard to pinpoint exactly when yellow paint started in video games. All signs largely point to a slow, evolutionary process dating back to the glowing yellow weak spots trend of the mid-2000s. But it's unquestionable that, since its relative recent wave of popularity, yellow paint has then become a de facto solution to an important game design problem. How do you encourage or highlight the direction a player needs to go?
You like, I don't know, drop clues for them? You have like paths that are open and paths that are blocked? I don't know, just don't go like, over here, dummy!
We need to have some way of teaching the player thing. But in many cases, they do try loads and loads of different things. They go through like numerous testing sessions with players. I've been to these offices where they have like a cinema screen and they watch rigorous tests, you know, to make sure that they play the game properly. They would have basically done numerous tests and then found like, okay, we really do need to just paint these ladders yellow to make sure that players know.
Please don't go this.
So
They would have.
basically you're saying that players are too stupid to see what or understand where to go, so you had to paint the ladders yellow.
Been one or two situations in the game where they had to point it out because people were missing the ladder, and there would have been enough cases like that where basically they were like, okay, we've started this language of like yellow paint equals you can climb this or you can smash this or whatever. So because we've done it in enough cases, we now need to do it everywhere, because if people see the yellow paint, they're going to think, oh, we can climb it. And if they don't see the yellow paint, they're going to think, oh, we can't climb it.
Okay, but why would you start that language in the first place if you don't want to continue it? Because that sounds, the way you're wording that sentence is sounding like you don't actually want to continue that pattern.
Upsides and downsides to everything. You know, if you give people too much information, it's hand-holding. If you take away the information, it becomes difficult. The key thing is to make sure it makes sense in the narrative. The reason why yellow paint's ridiculous is because it's like, why would everything be painted yellow? Who's doing this?
And with this point, Ed arrives at the crux of my issue, a problem that can only become more exacerbating as gaming progresses further into the realms of realism. How can I truly be immersed when the UIX element is diametrically opposed to that goal?
Yeah, how can you immerse yourself in a video game world and then there's like this giant yellow sign over it? It's like it takes you out of the world. Like, that's why, for example, when I'm playing Diablo, the sounds for loot drops, it makes a tiny little noise. It's not in your face, and the potions play like a soft note that plays and louder or softer if you approach or walk away from it. It's not in your face to be like, over here. It's just, you know, very subtle, but it's still good enough that you can hear it, but it's not, you know, treating you like you're dumb.
Help me to understand this shit.
Everyone hates UI because it's like this reminder that you're playing a video game. Diegetic UI can play into the narrative. Faith in Mirror's Edge, for example, she sees things in red and we say that's runner vision. Other patterns like that all throughout UI, so like the red barrel, for example, we never question that. We never question why a barrel's red that are explosive.
Well, if it's red that's explosive, that would make sense, because red, fire, that would make sense.
Weak spots on enemies, we never question, like, what's the evolutionary benefit of a weak spot? You know, they have a big glowing spot on their body, which is also the spot that happens to be where they take the most damage. Why would they have that? But they're there to guide the player, they're there to help the player. So it's impossible to do this in a subtle way, but because you want to teach a pattern, if you add yellow paint to this one section of the game, you kind of want to do it throughout the entire game in order to make that consistent pattern, that kind of language that you're teaching the player. That yellow paint equals go here, you know, kind of thing.
Come with me if you want to live.
And that's kind of a problem, because then you establish this pattern that you didn't necessarily want to establish.
For a player to learn a pattern and minimize any moments of confusion, consistency and regularity with the visual language is key. Reading between the lines, it appears that Ed's argument is that a player's painless experience is often more important than a constant state of immersion. If a healthy balance between the two isn't possible, then a frictionless experience is the priority. But unlike the alternative, and perhaps smarter, subtle scratches on mantle objects, or the explosive red barrels that we've been shooting at for decades, what began as a design choice to almost subconsciously guide the player has now become so unbelievably conscious that it was hard for the internet to ignore.
Yeah, it's not even necessarily a bad thing that yellow is used to delineate here's where to go. It's just that it's done so much and so often, and like that's why people are like, hey, what the hell's going on here?
Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road.
So, what's the solution? Now that yellow paint has become the butt of UIX design jokes, what can developers do that's different?
New solutions are coming up all the time. Like God of War did the kind of tribal patterns etched into the rock. Uncharted, they've managed that without yellow paint. But the thing is about those solutions, they take a hell of a lot of time to perfect because you're literally talking like a bespoke piece of scenery for every single climbable wall.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you take that time to do that, then your player base will thank you for it and will buy your game more and recommend your game to more people.
The best ways of teaching something to the players, rather than telling them to do something, you can breadcrumb them to get them to that place. So you can basically use contrast, so you can use like a landmark in the background, for example, to draw their eye, and that will work as like a sort of beacon. The church in Breath of the Wild at the very start, rather than have like a big arrow, be like, go here.
Yeah, you don't need the giant arrow to treat your players like they're stupid.
You need that because you have this landmark that's just sitting there, and the player is always going to go to that landmark. People are going to have to adapt because obviously it's annoying people now, and that's not going to go away. You can't use yellow paint and then also be surprised when people go on Twitter and be like, it's back.
No, you can't. Like, if you're gonna do something that's that obvious... Hey, Happy New Year, Midnight in Exile. How are you doing? Happy New Year, 51st Stater. Now, sir.
This brings me back to A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead, and to a lesser extent Stalker 2. After Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and another intense round of mocking, I thought gaming was finally done with yellow paint. But once again, the played out, but admittedly useful trope reared its ugly yellow head.
I think it definitely was a mistake to use the yellow paint because this is the thing about design patterns as well, right? The more that solution is used, the more the player knows what that solution is. But obviously that can have a downside and an upside. It can make things really, really obvious, or it can basically just be like, oh, not this again.
That's true. There are some things that are found to be very useful and therefore they're reused. And then there are some things that are just easier to use and then they're reused. And then the people see that and they're like, oh, again with this.
This landscape, I could swear I've seen it before.
Because once you notice it and you know why it's there, it's like, it is jarring and you want to be immersed.
It's still real to me, damn it!
If the discourse carries on, it will just disappear. If now we know that yellow paint is basically the devil and people hate it, then the least we can do is, make it blue.
Or, like, make it blue, or, like, use different shapes to delineate, like, maybe, like, like a thing with a circle on it means you break it, or something like that.
You never know where help is going to come from until you look for it.
It appears then that the days of yellow paint guiding us down critical paths are numbered, hopefully destined to the history of gaming design tropes along with instant fail stealth missions and slowly walking while talking. But it won't be long before the new yellow paint arrives, because as games become increasingly complex and detailed, developers will always need to create new and clever methods to optimize our experience. And when something new works, patterns will be established and others will quickly follow.
You gotta keep moving forward. We will beat this.
So yes, although it'll be annoying when we all collectively notice, perhaps instead we should take joy in all the painless hours of video games we experienced before we did.
Or, like, you don't have to, like, I don't know. I found this to be an interesting video because of my lack of ability to see. I didn't know this was what you guys saw when you guys played video games. I had no idea. So, yeah, I didn't know that this was a thing that was in video games. So I wanted to take a look at it and actually learn about that. Let's see. Apropos topic, I needed to listen to some design lectures. Oh! Oh, so am I, Adam. I literally just picked up Diablo 4 last week. So, I'm brand new to the whole blind Diablo thing. And it's fun though. It's addictive as all hell. I'm loving it. I find it to just be like one of the funnest games. Like, I love Mortal Kombat, and I'm still, gonna play it and everything. I'm actually signed up for a tournament on the 18th of January. But I just love Diablo. It is so much fun. I can't wait to play tonight. All right, let's see here. So our next video is about honey. We learned about honey being a scam company. We learned about how they were stealing YouTuber money, and they are now being sued by two YouTubers, Windover and Legal Eagle. And so this is now going to be Windover versus PayPal. So let's take a look at this interesting video, because this was big news. So let's have a listen.
So I just saw a post that Wendover Productions is suing Honey and PayPal in a class action lawsuit, and I just had to get this to you first thing. So let's take a look at what's going on. It's the beginning of a much longer effort to hold Honey and PayPal accountable for what they've...
They should be held accountable, because what they did was absolutely ridiculous. The subtle visual cues in games are probably 2 to 4 times as complex as audio, even because the visual design staff is usually a lot bigger than audio. You're probably right about that. The visual design team is probably much bigger than the audio design team.
Done. If they have actually done anything wrong in the contract sense, in the legal sense. Certainly, I think we can all agree that the scam of it, the misdirection of it is unethical or immoral, but we kind of expect that from corporations in a capitalistic society. But still, it was probably some kind of misleading that none of the influencers knew that Honey was doing this. And it seems like maybe Linus Tech Tips figured it out a couple years ago and just quietly separated their relationship with Honey.
If I was Linus Tech Tips, I would have made a big stink about it. If anyone would do this, it would be DJ and his team. This is gonna be really big.
As you do when you are operating a major media enterprise, you can't go around upsetting everyone. So, let's take a look at what was filed. So it's been filed in the United States District Court, Federal District Court for the Northern District of California, in the San Jose division. Well, that's exactly where a major company like PayPal or Honey is going to be. Wendover might even be somewhere there. I don't know. We'll see in a moment when we get to that part of the lawsuit. So this is Wendover Productions versus PayPal, because I guess Honey is part of PayPal, maybe not a separate entity. And it's a class action complaint for intentional interference with contractual relations, intentional interference with prospective economic relations, and for injunctive relief. Basically, business relations.
Wow. That's... And I don't know much about this stuff, so I'm going to let this play. for quite a long time of, well, not a lot, but I'm going to really try to pay attention to this. So I'm not going to pause it very often. So let's take a look.
Plaintiff Wendover Productions and Businessing LLC plead on their own behalf and others similarly situated as a class action make the following allegations. Plaintiffs are content creators who earn a substantial amount of their revenue through contracts for promoting products and services. Plaintiffs are paid when they send followers or subscribers to purchase the products of their contractual partners. The final step of the transaction that pays both the contractual partners and the plaintiffs through a commission is a checkout page on a web browser. Plaintiffs have affiliate links which tell their partners this sale was sent by me. It is the same as a salesperson getting acknowledged when the customer goes to the cash register. Yeah. This was the analogy made by was it Megalag that exposed this thing in the first place?
Yes. It is. He even used the like that. The salesman gives you his business card or his reference card, and you give it at the cash register, and some other salesman swoops in and, oh, let me give you my discounts, and puts his number in instead of the other guys. Yeah.
This case involves a scheme by defendant to unlawfully supplant affiliate links from content creators with its own affiliate links via Honey, thereby redirecting commission or tracking on those affiliate links to defendant. So if you're not familiar with this scam, I'll put a link to Megalag's video or the big video that everybody was watching. Honey is a browser extension where you can look for coupon codes. Well, when you go to look for the coupon code using the browser extension, it changes the affiliate link. It even changes the affiliate cookie. So this means that Wendover Productions has an affiliate link. Well, Honey replaces the affiliate link with Honey's affiliate link, gives the customer the coupon discount, which it turns out there's also shenanigans there where the website and Honey have control over which coupon codes the customer sees.
Yeah, it the video even broke down they apply like the lesser coupons, and they claim that these are the only coupons that you can get, but then the what's it called, then unlike what you oh, sorry, I'm just looking at chat.
So you can actually direct Honey not to show a coupon code if you wanted to. Mm-hmm. As far as I understand from the video that I saw. So if this is true, then they are taking away the affiliate link and keeping that affiliate link money for themselves in addition to whatever else they make money off of in their company.
Yeah.
Defendant PayPal owns Honey. Honey is a browser extension which purports to find consumers the best deal at checkout by scanning for discount codes. Content creators whose commissions were redirected are entitled to damages under tortious interference theories. Defendant via Honey has standardized practices and procedures which all content creators are subject to.
Yep.
The appropriate vehicle for recovery is this class action lawsuit.
That's as far as I'm concerned, with my incredibly layman's knowledge of this entire thing, that does seem to be the only recourse.
So we are in San Jose district. Venue is proper. A substantial portion of the events happened in this district. Defendant has its principal place of business in this district. Honey is a browser extension free to consumers which purports to automatically look for discount codes when consumers shop on select sites to provide customers or consumers with the biggest savings available. Defendant owns and operates Honey, that's PayPal. Mm-hmm. Defendant has partnered with 30,000 businesses or more to include Honey in the online checkout process for any consumer who has downloaded the browser extension.
That's a lot of businesses. 30,000 businesses partnered with. That is insane.
These are defendants' merchant partners in the lawsuit. Plaintiffs are content creators with large followings on YouTube. Wendover has 4.7 million subscribers, 240 videos, etc. Wendover regularly partners with businesses, including the merchant partners, to promote products in his videos. He has partnered with businesses such as NordVPN, Ground News, Audible, and Brilliant. When plaintiff promotes products, payment comes from the business with whom he has partnered and who is selling the product. Plaintiff posts videos approximately twice per week, including all videos posted across all channels, and they are all monetized. When plaintiff promotes a product, it promotes it with an affiliate link by which viewers can access the product on the business's website and purchase it if they so choose. The affiliate link tracks how many customers were acquired via plaintiff's content. If you're not familiar with this, if you click on a link from one of these YouTubers with like a buy this product, you know, they review a product and they have a link to buy the product, that link might go to an official website like BH Photo Video for a video camera or something like that. But when you click on a Gerald Undone video with an affiliate link, it goes to BH Photo Video / something that tells it it's coming from Gerald Undone.
That makes sense. It's got to have a marker that says that it's from that specific channel so that it knows that that channel gets that commission.
Or from some other YouTuber's Wendover Productions video. If you manually removed that tracking code, which is just a tracking code, affiliate code, part of the URL, if you manually remove it, you will still get to the product page.
If PayPal loses this, users are going to get the pinch. Oh, for sure. For sure they're going to feel it.
Will still be able to buy the product or service, and the influencer / YouTuber, whatever, will not get the affiliate income. This is what Honey was doing, allegedly, is changing that affiliate code to their own affiliate code so they get the affiliate income even though you got to the website through a different affiliate.
Yeah.
Like they said in the video, it's like if you go buy something from a salesperson on commission, and right before the salesperson gets their commission, some other salesperson comes along and takes the commission. It's shady at best and illegal at worst. The affiliate link tracking is necessary in determining how successful plaintiff was in driving traffic to the business's website and acquiring customers.
So that tracker is a very helpful tool for businesses and for PayPal and YouTube.
Plaintiffs' contractual business partners regularly evaluate whether plaintiffs are overperforming or underperforming regarding the business's benchmark for average customer acquisition costs. The businesses track how many customers have been acquired via plaintiff's affiliate link and divide that number into the flat fee paid to plaintiffs to determine if customer acquisition is less or more costly via plaintiffs than the average. If plaintiffs are overperforming, if the business acquires many customers through the affiliate links, then that business partner is more likely to renew contracts with plaintiffs and offer him better terms on future contracts. The affiliate link tracking, therefore, plays a crucial part in defining the future business relationship with plaintiff's business partners. Affiliate link tracking relies on last click attribution, which is a model that credits the last touch point a customer interacted with before making a purchase as the cause of the conversion.
Yeah, so Megaleg explained that. So it it will track where you went last, and that will it's hard to remember how it was explained. It tracks it benefit, or the commission will go to the last point tracked, the last point gone to instead of the first point.
So converting to a sale, who's the person or entity that the customer last interacted with that causes the sale, they get the affiliate income. But here Honey is taking it instead. Last click attribution is the industry standard and is the model by which all or most of plaintiffs' business partners operate. Last click attribution relies on affiliate cookies to notify businesses where certain sales originated from. Plaintiff businessing runs a similar operation but with separate categories of influence. One, Ali Spagnola's Fitness Outrageous, has over 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. Another, at Ali Spagnola, has approximately 2.25 million subscribers for Ms. Spagnola's outrageous art and outrageous music for outrageous people. Businessing has similar affiliate agreements with third parties.
So this other, I guess, corporation or organization has ties with
Defendant
this?
takes advantage of last click attribution by inserting a Honey pop-up at checkout for each customer that has installed the Honey browser. If the customer clicks on the Honey link after clicking on plaintiff's affiliate link, then defendant's affiliate cookie replaces plaintiff's or that of any other content creator who uses affiliate links.
Oh, that is so sneaky.
And this is the big freaking deal. In other words, if a customer clicks on one of plaintiff's affiliate links and then directly purchases the product, the business will see that the sale originated from plaintiff's affiliate link. However, if the customer clicks on plaintiff's affiliate link and then the Honey pop-up, then the business tracks the sale as originating from Honey.
That is so slippery. And then Honey gets the sale.
And plaintiff will receive no credit for the purchase. Honey erases plaintiff's affiliate links and replaces it with one of its own. If the consumer clicks on the Honey pop-up at any point during checkout, Honey will receive credit for the purchase even if it did not provide any discount codes to the consumer. Even if it did not provide discount codes. Because Honey disrupted the last click attribution for clicks that should have been attributed to plaintiffs, plaintiffs were responsible for customer acquisition that was unable to be tracked by his business partners.
Let's run that back.
Attribution for clicks that should have been attributed to plaintiffs, plaintiffs were responsible for customer acquisition that was unable to be tracked by his business partners.
So he was responsible for tracking acquisition even though he had no way to do so?
Because Honey disrupted that last click attribution, plaintiff's performance in regard to customer acquisition has been artificially and negatively skewed. Defendant's actions prevented plaintiff's business partners from counting all customers that were acquired via plaintiff's affiliate links. Defendant is aware that its Honey browser extension takes credit for customer acquisition for which it is not responsible, and for which, were the Honey browser extension not in place, plaintiffs and other content creators would be properly credited. Defendant's actions have damaged plaintiffs' relationships with business partners. Defendant's actions have caused plaintiffs to receive less favorable contract terms from his business partners and or led to a failure to renew contracts with business partners.
Yeah. This could have a huge effect on somebody if they feel that you've been part of a scam. Like, even if it's unwitting, they're not going to want to partner with you anymore.
So, in other words, you're tracking your business. How good is your business? How good is your marketing? This is a big deal. If you're not getting a return on your marketing dollars, you need to change your marketing efforts, or you're just wasting money. And it's really easy to waste a lot of money on marketing, or to lose a lot of money when marketing didn't go the way it was supposed to, and your good product or service doesn't get the attention it deserves.
That is true. If you don't have good marketing, but you have a good product, it doesn't matter if you have a good product because your marketing sucked.
This is a big freaking deal when one company interferes with another company's ability to make money in an underhanded, misrepresenting, fraudulent, scammy way. It is exactly deserving of a class action lawsuit, and I'm really glad to see that this is happening. I'm sure PayPal will have its own defense. I'm not saying that this is an easy win. We'll go over that in a moment. Defendant benefited by disrupting last click attribution, which should have been attributed to plaintiffs, by receiving credit for customer acquisition.
So he interfered with attribution?
Because defendant received credit for customer acquisition, defendant benefited at plaintiff's expense.
Oh,
They're setting up some kind of unjust enrichment argument, even if it's not an explicit claim. Now they're going to attack PayPal as a class. So obviously everyone knows what a class action lawsuit is in concept. Multiple plaintiffs sue one defendant. In any class action, the proposed leader of the class needs to make a argument for why they should have a class action, why they should lead the class, etc. So you have to define the class, and you have to define the class in a way that limits the scope of the case to the appropriate people.
That makes sense. Because you don't want to just broad brush something like this. You want to actually make sure you're suing the right people.
Not more people than were affected by Honey and not less.
Yeah.
So the class is defined as all persons, which includes companies, from December 29th, 2022 to the time of class certification. Why? Because there's probably a 2-year statute of limitations on these kinds of allegations.
Makes sense.
All persons who contracted with any business to promote a product or service and provided to consumers an affiliate link that led consumers to a checkout page which incorporated the Honey browser extension. So going back 2 years, anybody who did affiliate link, whatever, I may be in this class as well.
This is, I think, reasonable. 2 years worth of, like, going back over 2 years. I think that's a fair and reasonable time frame, because you want to, when you sue somebody, you want to do something called mitigate your damages. So, this is what they're trying to do here.
Because I've had affiliate links, especially with Audible. Not sure if Honey was doing anything with Audible, but we'll find out about that. Excluded from this class are employees, officers, directors of defendant, attorneys appearing in this case, any judge assigned to hear this action.
Yeah.
Normal. The questions for the class are, did defendants' policies and practices effectively steal attribution from members of the class? Did defendant profit from customer acquisition, which was otherwise generated by members of the class themselves instead of defendant? Did defendants' actions in stealing attribution damage the creator's relationship between defendants, merchant partners, and members of the class?
I would say yes.
Whether defendant intentionally damaged the relationship, because intentionalness, willfulness, will multiply damages or potentially lead to sanctions. Plaintiffs are adequate representatives. Yeah, I think so. I think we'll see in a moment who's behind this. If you don't know already, it's kind of fun. It's Wendover Productions, but it's also the damages sought by each member are such that prosecution would prove burdensome. Yeah, it's too complex for the courts to handle every single lawsuit.
Crazy.
30, 50, 100 different lawsuits when you could have
This is insane. This is so convoluted and so, like, twisted up and confusing.
100 plaintiffs in one lawsuit instead. So they are asking, in their causes of action, these are the claims: intentional interference with contractual relations.
Okay.
Defendants knew contractual relationships existed between plaintiffs and the merchant partners.
Mm-hmm.
Defendant knew its merchant partners collaborated with plaintiffs and drove traffic to merchant partners' websites via affiliate links.
Lovely.
Defendants' conduct prevented performance of plaintiffs of their contractual obligations or made performance more expensive or difficult. Defendant intended to disrupt the plaintiff's performance or knew their actions made things more expensive or difficult or impossible. Defendant's interference harmed plaintiffs by artificially and negatively skewing the data regarding customer acquisition via affiliate links, causing members of the class to appear to merchant partners to underperform relative to actual customer acquisition.
Oh, so they messed with actual metadata Oh, that is just dirty. That is just dirty.
Defendant's conduct
remember,
was a substantial factor in causing plaintiffs harm and the class. And by virtue of the foregoing, plaintiffs and members have been harmed in an amount that exceeds $5 million.
Wow.
That's the class. It could be proven to be much more than that. The second cause of action, intentional interference with prospective economic relations, it's going to be relatively the same thing.
Yeah.
You interfered with existing relations, you interfered with prospective relations, another $5 million claim.
Yeah. And it's safe to say that if they interfered with current partners, that they would have, I just need my sweater, that they would have tainted any relationships with prospective partners as well. That just goes without saying. Oh, I'm a little bit chilly. There we go. Okay.
Basically, if we're underperforming as YouTuber influencers, as social media influencers, you're not going to hire us.
Yeah.
You're going to hire us for less money, or you're not going to hire us. So therefore, you've interfered with prospective economic relations.
Yeah. Because if you're stealing their commissions, then it's going to look like they're underperforming. And then nobody's going to want to partner with them because they're like, okay, well, these people don't sell things. They're not selling things for this person. Why would they sell things for me?
Injunctive relief. Plaintiff also seeks injunctive relief, which is appropriate where there is a threat of continuing misconduct. These paragraphs themselves are not going to be enough to get injunctive relief, so we're going to see a motion in the injunctive relief for a preliminary injunction very soon. I guess whenever they feel like it. But a motion for preliminary injunction to ask the court to order PayPal or Honey to stop conducting operations like this while we have the litigation.
PayPal or Honey, either one of you, stop it. Stop behaving this way. It's horrible.
So they're asking for, in their prayer for relief, proper class action, an award of damages, actual damages, nominal, consequential, punitive, exemplary damages, as allowed by law to be determined at trial, a permanent injunction ordering defendant to stop replacing affiliate cookies and links, prejudgment interest, post-judgment interest, statutorily enhanced fees, attorney's fees, cost, litigation expenses, all other findings and determinations identified and sought, leave to amend, and any other relief.
All of those things are quite reasonable. If you're the plaintiff and you're suing somebody, especially if they've affected your income, it makes perfect sense for you to say, okay, you can pay my legal fees, you can pay all of these fees, you can pay all the administrative fees. And
it is filed by Christensen Law Group, EKSM, and Legal Eagle. The Eagle Team LLP, Devin Stone right there. So I think that's pretty awesome. We go up to the top there, you can see all of their official everythings. Looks like it's a multi-attorney effort to hold PayPal accountable for what they've been doing.
This is huge. This is for content creators to basically stand up and say like, hey, this isn't okay. You can't steal from us just because we create content. Like, this is big. This is very big.
I did not know that they were doing this. It sounds like everybody else didn't know they were doing this, and those that found out about it quietly ended their relationships with PayPal/Honey. In that sense, I don't mean that nobody ever used PayPal again. I'd love it if I could stop. But it's a large company, and so this is a kind of a David and Goliath situation. Even large influencers like Wendover are still in the dark that this was happening until it was revealed when someone found out.
Yeah. And it's like PayPal is one of the only options, right? Because you don't want people to be like giving out credit card information and all that shit. Like, it's just this is a huge development, and I will be definitely keeping an eye on this. So Charlie, Moist Critical, found another pathetic ex. He likes to find these people on like these boards where they post text messages and stuff like that. So I figured I would grab this for some levity. Pathetic ex has a meltdown. This is gonna be interesting. Let's see how this is gonna be.
If you're in a relationship right now, I hope this doesn't ruin it for you, but you may never look at your partner the same because they're just not going to match up to this Adonis I'm about to show you. The self-described 0.5% boyfriend on the planet. He's pretty much everything you could ever want in a partner, and we get to see that firsthand as he brags to his ex about all of the matches he's getting on Hinge. So the background is, these two were dating. He is apparently a doctor, she's a nurse, they broke up.
Okay.
I can't imagine why with the way he talks in these text messages. He seems like a very secure, stable individual.
Oh boy, this is gonna be interesting.
So, I don't know what the conversation was that was preceding this, but he says, if you are even thinking it, I'm down for an open relationship.
Just straight up, just straight out there.
You and I can do whatever we want. I'll probably sleep with someone before January anyway. The benevolent saint read her mind, knew that she was thinking like, I kind of want to still fuck this guy. So he let her know right up front that he's definitely still down for that, but he's going to have to pencil her in around this upcoming coitus session that's going to happen before January. No.
What a loser. What an absolute loser.
Doubt. Like I said, I don't know what the conversation was that preceded it, but it was probably some shit like, hey, can you come collect your stuff? And he's like, listen. I know what you're thinking. And the answer is yes. I will still fuck you in this open relationship that you desperately want us to be in. I'm okay with that. I'll make that sacrifice. She rejects that generous offer.
Oh, wonderful.
There's a ghost in the chat. Hello.
Offer saying she's looking for a boyfriend. He says, okay, offer stands. Immaculate business acumen, letting her know that the offer is still on the table when she comes to her senses. Always down to clap cheeks and get head. Speaking like Duke Nukem out here. Immaculate business acumen, letting her know that the offer is still on the table when she comes to her senses. Always down to clap cheeks and get head. Speaking like Duke Nukem out here.
What a douche.
It's BTK.
Hey!
I figured you couldn't see the font.
No.
Yeah, no, it's BTK.
Hey, BTK, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Happy New Year.
I came to be a weirdo loser to my ex and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of gum. And then he, just for some reason, throws this in there. This is out of control. 14 convos. Day 1 of Hinge. Oh, you can just taste the tears.
Dude, what are you doing? What is the matter with you? Just move on with your life if you don't want to be with her. What the fuck?
He is trying so hard to make it seem like he's moving on and is actually very happy that the relationship has ended. Look at how many conversations he's having on Hinge. He needs to brag about it to his ex.
And why are you on Hinge? Like, what the like, how desperate do you have to be?
I also imagine a chunk of those conversations are with bots. This is like the guy who brags about all the sexy singles from his area that he's talking to after clicking on a porn banner. But either way, he's just trying to go out of his way to be an asshole to his ex to make her feel bad. Just unprompted sending Hinge conversations he's been having with other women. When he doesn't get any response, he starts spiraling and melting down, monologuing like a cartoon villain.
So she basically has left him on red and he's just losing his shit because of it.
I mean, obviously most of these girls would be an upgrade, so why would I get back with a broke girl who isn't even close to finishing school?
Oh, fuck. What a lovely gentleman.
You pushed me into something better. You literally asked me to get a gun. I don't have any ammunition and it's locked in a case when it gets here. Just another example of stupid communication. Such a stupid and confusing girl. I'm getting updated headshots once I'm all tanned up from Vegas from 2 professional photographers.
What a fucking loser. Holy shit. Oh my god, the cringe is real.
And I update my wardrobe so everyone will get to see the new hairline. Oh. Jeepers creepers. Man's got the Rogaine foam out and he's getting very excited to showcase it in his new Crocs and Hawaiian t-shirt.
Yep.
Probably use your birthday money for it. That was supposed to be a little dagger to jab her with. I'm using your birthday money for this, by the way.
Yeah. I was gonna give you some money for your birthday, but I'm just gonna use it on me instead.
Brother, the relationship's over. I doubt she really cares what you use it for. Go ballistic, man. If you want to keep spamming minoxidil on your Tommy Pickles head, go crazy.
Yep.
Also, like clockwork, with every single meltdown, it's always, well, I was actually, like, settling for you. You're, like, super beneath me. You're broke, and everyone I'm meeting on Hinge is clearly an upgrade. This was, like, the best thing that's ever happened to me, and I cannot stop smiling about it, because now, look at all of these upgrades that I'm getting on Hinge from you.
This is such hard cope. This is such hard cope. It's crazy. I'm not sad. You're sad. I'm getting all these girls on Hinge. Screw you, bitch. I bet you she dumped him.
Like, I was doing you a favor by being with you. He then also had the courtesy to show her what the photos are going to look like when they're done.
Oh,
photos going to look something like this. I want to take some photos together as well at a festival and some action shots doing hobbies. It's going to be fun and likely boost my profile even more. I'm already overwhelmed though. Right now I've got a serious case of stick-it-to-the-man-neosis from just getting too much pussy, but I'd like to elevate my profile a bit more so I can reach challenger rank on Hinge.
Challenger rank on Hinge? Dude, there's a ranking system, or is he just making this up?
He then just sends some random photos of dudes he saw on Google Images, typing in things like man on bike and stuff like that, and he just sends those randomly. There's no doubt in my mind he didn't actually plan any photography sessions. He just wanted some shit here to, like, brag about, kind of. Like, look at how much better I'm doing. Check out these, like, new photos I'm going to be doing. Like, I'm going to be riding a bike. These action shots of me doing my hobbies, of undressing anime figurines, they're going to go crazy on Hinge. And people...
Oh, yeah. Everyone's going to think I'm completely normal and not faking these pictures at all.
Look at all of them.
It's gonna be
Honestly,
great.
my ultimate goal is to find someone with an impressive career who comes from a good family. That's something I really missed with you and stressed me out. I want my children to aspire to be great, and your family reeks with complacency. Who asked? This man's just fucking vomiting all the spaghetti in his brain here. He's just fucking dumping nonsense. Who is asking you what your goals are?
This is... I have a feeling that she was the dumper.
Nobody cares. Hypergamy is real. Women with great careers don't want partners who are less educated or make less money. I'm in the top 0.5%, so it puts me in an elite group when I finish. I really want to see what I can find once I beef things up on the profile. 70% of people nowadays meet each other online. He's got the stats and the
stats. He's looked it up, you guys. He's looked it up and he knows this
stats
is where
say
it's
that
at.
he should be happy, so he is happy. He's super happy because he's the 0.5% in an elite group of boyfriend material. So you know he's happy. You can tell he is just beaming with enthusiasm, with joy. It's the holly jolly season and he is feeling the spirit. He just
Have a holly jolly breakup.
keeps going on and on. I'll just date for fun until someone comes along worth marrying, kind of like what I did with you. Literally pages of glizzy gobblers. I'm the MIDI king. Oh man, he's slaying. Yeah, he's putting in the work right now. You can just see it. Calling them glizzy gobblers and
glizzy gobblers? Oh my god. This is just absolutely fucking pathetic.
He keeps referring to all of his matches as MIDI. He's actively just putting down all of the women that find him attractive. Like, he doesn't even find them good looking. I think he just swiped right on every single person with a pulse on Hinge over a 24-hour period and managed to get 14 matches.
I agree. I think he was hate swiping and he was just angry swiping because he got dumped. So he's like, I'm gonna swipe right on you, and you, and you, and you.
And now he's just calling himself the MIDI King. At least these middies won't give me such a headache like you did, won't lie to me about everything and manipulate me into getting a gun and then tell me they think I'm going to shoot them.
Yeah. Something tells me that's not what happened.
You are the insane one, walking red flag. He comes across as a pretty sane guy, so if he's calling someone insane, you know that holds water.
Oh, yeah.
There's no red flags I've picked up on here yet from this guy.
No, he seems perfectly normal and completely not unhinged at all.
I would never marry a woman like you. Fakest person I know. The whole sweet girl thing is such a facade. Your family knows the angry, manipulative, stubborn bitch you are on the inside.
Ooh.
Like I said, I don't want you back. I want to date these girls and have fun until I meet someone worth marrying.
Then why are you spamming her with all these texts?
But always down to fuck you and get head. I'm just not going to be exclusive anymore. I don't marry middies.
Then why are you even looking for someone to marry in all of these, quote, middies you're meeting on Hinge?
Now you can hang out as much as you want with your simp guy friends who get no pussy. It's a symbiotic relationship. A depressed and insecure girl who needs validation and 4 out of 10 or lower guys with no ambition or drive or any redeeming qualities that would make them dateable getting some attention from a midi. And she just says, stop texting me.
She definitely was the dumper.
This dude talks like those loveless virgins on Twitter that are always whining and crying on there about women.
Yep.
It's so... I don't even know where I would start with unpacking
this guy is definitely in the red pill sphere.
It's just pathetic. Like this is this is a doctor apparently.
No
what
way.
in tarnation? Dr. Dork maybe.
No way he's a fucking doctor.
But jeepers. Wow. Anyway, this is what a 0.5% mate looks like. This is like the elite group of boyfriends. And unfortunately, she didn't realize how lucky she got. She hit the lottery jackpot. And now, well, he's seen the light. So now he gets to go on Hinge and be the king of middies, as he says.
Whatever the fuck a midi is. I guess medium average woman. I don't know why you'd want to be the king of average anything, but okay.
But he'd never marry one. He's clearly over his previous relationship, which is why he's sending paragraphs to his ex bragging about this and just spitting out his goals and all kinds of insults towards her and her family and everything. He's absolutely happier now.
Oh,
it's very evident. But I would like to move on to another short adventure that I went on through some text messages today. This is a very brief one.
All right.
A Redditor had a friend that made a purchase that ended up being a bit of a scam, and it's a purchase that I can actually relate to in a pretty big way. It's a sex doll. So he was saying that the pictures that he purchased from looked nothing like the product he received, saying he's disappointed. His friend is just laughing at his trauma, though, which I think is just very rude. This guy.
No, I think it's absolutely deserved. You order a sex doll and you're upset that it doesn't look like you wanted it to. It's a sex doll.
He's clearly going through it. He just got scammed. He was looking for love. He didn't get what he ordered. There's so many things that most people should be able to pump their fist behind and say, yes, this man was wronged. I am on his side. He bought a sex doll and didn't receive the one that he had ordered. So he said, I should have let the process facility cancel the order and never reordered it back. His friend continues to laugh at him. I'm throwing it away tomorrow or something. He's still getting laughed at. He then says, bro, even the fucking Ona hole is too small.
Oh. The hole is too... Oh. That's just gross, dude. That's gross.
I don't know what the Ona hole is. That might be like a trademarked part of the sex doll. I don't know his particular model, but that might be like patent pending technology. He's trying to set his friend straight here, letting him know like, hey, this isn't really the hilarious situation you think it is. It's it's a big scam. I ordered sitting position, it came in standing position, stupid seller, scammer.
I ordered sitting position. What, you wanted the doll to be sitting so it could ride you? What? Like, what? I'm confused. Did you want it to be sitting down so you could stick your dick in its mouth? Like, what the fuck?
He then sends a picture of the sex doll that he received. This, it's not the highest quality item. I'll be the first to admit here. This looks like you're having sex with a Sega Dreamcast character.
Oh, God.
It's basically just a big noodle with a Google image face on it. The company that produced this should be ashamed of themselves. They didn't even have the decency of putting titties on it. This looks like one of Floop's Fluglies from
titties?
Spy Kids. So, unfortunately, there's a huge scammer on the loose, so buyer beware if you're in the market for any sex dolls. But the reason I said I can relate to this is because I actually had a sex doll that looked remarkably similar to that. Many of you may remember a few years ago when I was in my competition with Belle Delphine, where I had like the craziest collection of sex toys and dildos, flashlights, all of that. The whole 9 yards there, the kit and caboodle.
I'm very glad I wasn't watching you for that, Charlie. I'm sorry.
One of the items I had that I mentioned and showed in a couple videos was a sex doll that looked very close to that. Not the exact same model. It was this one. Now, at the very least, that model at least had titties on it and a usable mouth hole if your cock was 2 inches long.
I'm thinking he ordered a doll looking like X, expecting like X, but instead it looks like Y. Yes.
The gentle sir on Reddit, it didn't even have that. It was actually just like a piece of printer paper with a woman's face glued onto an inflatable thing, an inflatable tube thing, really. Like, I didn't even see any holes I censored it myself. I didn't even see any holes on his model. The one I had at least did have all of that, but you would be a damn fool to try and fuck it, because that sex doll I had, it was like made out of broken glass. It was like the sharpest material ever.
What? How horrible is that?
If you did put your cock in it, it wasn't coming out in one piece. It'd be sliced and diced. It'd be like sticking your cock in a wood chipper.
Ew, God, no. Whoa.
It was completely unusable for that purpose, which is why I had it as kind of like a background object where I put like a shirt on her. Now, God rest her soul, she's no longer with us, unfortunately. She melted at the warehouse, as did most of my collection of sex toys, because the Florida heat was not kind to them in an unventilated building.
Oh, the toys got all... Oh, no.
They didn't appreciate that very much, so pretty much everything melted.
Gross.
But, yeah, I can relate to his purchase here, because what he received, since he was actually buying it to have sex with it, he would not have been successful with it. I can tell you for sure, because I had something similar, and there is no human being on the planet, no matter how masochistic, that would actually fuck it and be pleased. They would be in excruciating pain and miserable. The agony would be overriding any sense of pleasure they could have possibly felt. So yeah, I just wanted to briefly talk about that on the back of talking about the awesome boyfriend. Anyway, that's about it. So yeah.
That's just too funny. That's just too funny. What a lovely gentleman boyfriend that was. I think, like I said, I think the girlfriend dumped him. I think that's what happened. Speaking of different, where are we here? What are we looking at here? Media doing damage control for DEI Dungeons and Dragons Backlash. So here we have, this is a Clownfish TV video. So this is going to be something, this is pretty gaming heavy. This is a pretty gaming heavy stream. So let's take a look at this video.
Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon, not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video. So I'm going to talk
from the doll websites, not Etsy.
Talk a little bit more about Dungeons and Dragons, and all the drama around Dungeons and Dragons is hitting the mainstream. We've got the New York Times doing an article on D&D and all the changes being made to D&D and how it's not landing with fans,
Gee, I wonder
longtime
why.
fans very well.
I wonder why fans aren't happy with Dungeons and Dragons when it's telling you how to make your character and how to make your character different race than you, or how to make your character disabled if you're disabled.
The controversy was amplified, of course, by Elon Musk throwing in his 2 cents, in which he told Hasbro to go to hell because of the disrespect shown toward Gary Gygax and the other OGs who helped create this classic game, which has been turned into another hockey puck in the culture war, right?
Apparently, Elon Musk plays Diablo 4 with 2 really big Diablo streamers.
So let's talk about this. Fox News picked it up as well, and I got to give a hat tip to Mr. Robert J. Kuntz himself, who tagged me in on Twitter and made me aware of this article that he actually was quoted in, which I think is good to see. He is one of the few remaining original D&D designers, authors, writers, and he was there pretty much since the beginning. He saw kind of everything as it went down, and I don't think he's real happy with the misrepresentation that the media has been doing in regards to D&D, because for years we've seen lots of articles. I think PBS did one and NPR did one, and all these government-funded media outlets, mouthpieces, talking about the racism and the misogyny in D&D and all of.
What racism and misogyny in D&D? What? Because people don't want their characters to be fucking disabled or different race than them?
And they've spent
they want
several
to play a different race than themselves, perhaps,
years.
Or in fact, the skin color of the different characters has nothing to do with racism.
Trying to cultivate
like
a very different audience. And we're going to talk about this because this article actually goes into it some. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, no woohoos today, but it is New Year's Eve, so happy New Year's. Hopefully you guys are spending it doing more fun things rather than listening to us, but we do appreciate it. Check out clownfishminus.com for merch. We got this Dismal Castle t-shirt. A lot of people like that. Clownfish hats. This is actually my hat right here. The embroidered tie-dye green hat. I love this hat. I wear this hat all the time. Thank you so much. You can also get bonus content over at clownfishtv.locals.com. So Fox News covered it, and they got from the New York Times. And again, a hat tip to Mr. Kuntz for sending me a link to this. Dungeons & Dragons rolls the dice with new rules about identity. The role-playing game replaced race with species and divorced several character traits from biological identity.
No, it did not. Race is now called species.
Species and divorced several character traits from biological identity.
Like
some
what?
longtime players are upset, as is Elon Musk.
Well, of course longtime players are upset. That's the stupidest thing you could do. Because of species, you can have many different species of a race. It's not... That's dumb. Canine is this is stupid.
They said the game's first significant rules changes came after a decade, which became official this fall as they celebrated the 50th anniversary, and it reverberated through the Dungeons & Dragons community and beyond. They prompted praise and disdain at game tables and everywhere, along with YouTubers. Who is this? Is this us? Better not be us. It is not. It's the quartering. Okay.
Oh, fucking quartering. Of course it's the quartering.
It was not us. Irritated social media posts from Elon Musk. Races are now species. Some character traits have been divorced from biological identity. A mountain dwarf is no longer inherently brawny and durable. No, he can be a barista with his boyfriend. A high elf no longer intelligent and dexterous by definition. And Wizards of the Coast, the Dungeons & Dragons publisher owned by Hasbro, has endorsed a trend throughout role-playing games in which players are empowered to halt the proceedings if they ever feel uncomfortable.
Oh, fuck off. I feel uncomfortable about what's going on in the game. I'd like to stop the proceeding. I'd like to stop the proceedings, please. Race is above species. You have it backwards. Yeah, I knew I had it backwards, but it's still, you can't, it goes, this is dumb.
Safe word. They've encouraged players to use safe words. They've taken the classic races and turned them into something else. Anybody can be anything. And I guess that's okay, but it's not really traditional D&D, is it? You know, and here's the thing, and I just want to remind people. Because Hasbro did not create Dungeons and Dragons. No. Wizards of the Coast did not create Dungeons and Dragons. They're like, oh, it's our big 50th anniversary. It's a big update. They own the IP.
Yeah.
They own the name Dungeons and Dragons. The game they have created, 5e onward especially, is very detached, I believe, from the original D&D created by TSR. And early on at Wizards, again, from my understanding, we had people that really respected what TSR had done. And as time went on, 5e, and again, if you like 5e, that's fantastic. Good for you. But that game had become kind of its own thing.
Yeah, it's not like I don't play D&D, but I don't understand why. I don't understand why we're doing all of this crap.
In my opinion, I think 5e became a very different thing from, it's very detached from old school D&D. Yeah. So now we have a divide. It's not just D&D anymore. It's, OSR, old school Renaissance. A lot of indie publishers are putting out rule sets that are more reminiscent of what D&D was.
That's insane. That you have to come up with that. You have to write down your own, basically your own rule sets.
And I'm not saying that, games can't evolve or whatever, but
Lions and
I guess it would be very similar to Monopoly suddenly becoming Clue. You know what I'm saying? It's like this doesn't even really resemble the original game that much. No. You've got game pieces and you've got a board and you've got rules, but other than that, it's everything else has kind of changed, right?
Yeah.
That's my opinion. 5e to me feels like another game system entirely from original Dungeons and Dragons. It does not feel like it belongs in the same universe as TSR's Dungeons and Dragons and Forgotten Realms and Dragonlance and old school Spelljammer and Dark Sun and all that stuff. That's what I grew up playing. Anyway, what they're trying to do here is put up a signal flare to not only current players but potential future players that this game is a safe, inclusive, thoughtful, and sensitive approach to fantasy storytelling.
In my safe space.
This is not a game anymore. It's fantasy storytelling, said Ryan Lassard, a writer and frequent D&D dungeon master. The changes have exposed a rift among Dungeons & Dragons players, a group as passionate as its pursuits is esoteric, becoming part of the broader cultural debate about how to balance principles like inclusivity and accessibility with history and tradition.
We don't have to ruin a game to make it accessible and inclusive, for Christ's sake.
Just play a different game, but it doesn't have the brand recognition, does it? Robert J. Kuntz, an award-winning game designer who frequently collaborated with Gary Gygax as co-creator of Dungeons & Dragons, said he dislikes Wizards of the Coast efforts to legislate from above rather than provide room for dungeon masters, the game's ringleaders and referees, to tailor their individual campaigns. Yeah, so you've always been welcome. You've always been welcome to play the game you want.
I don't know anyone that's the
way you want.
I don't know anyone that's ever said you can't play, you're blind. I don't. D&D was probably one of the only games that I could have played. And my dad wanted me to play with him for a long time ago, but my mom was like, "No, you can't play Dungeons and Dragons."
table your rules if you got house rules, or certain monsters offend you. Maybe it's a little, or certain religious takes offend you. It's not good for your group for whatever reason. Maybe you've got younger players or what. You've always been free. You've always been free to make changes to suit your group. But again, the difference now is that Hasbro wants to be the moral authority and tell you how to play the game and how to be more inclusive and how to be less racist, even as they do racist-y stuff. It actually sometimes make it worse. Sometimes they make it worse. They call attention to things that really weren't, most people didn't feel were racist, but whatever. So Robert says it's an unnecessary thing. It attempts to play into something that I'm not sure is even worthy of addressing, as if the word race is bad.
That's what they're acting like. Like the very word race is somehow this horrible concept, this horrible idea.
Yeah, we're dealing with non-humans. I don't like this lineage thing. I mean, again, this is just my personal opinion. Going back to AD&D, is that humans, dwarves, elves, gnomes, halflings, they're kind of related, but they're not actually related. Right. They're very much separate races. We're not just talking different skin tones. No. They are separate races with separate histories, and they have different physical and mental and magical attributes.
Yeah. Just like in Diablo. I know I'm bringing it back to Diablo again, but it's the same thing with like the rogues or the sorcerers or the druids or the barbarians. Everybody's got their own looks, their own abilities, their own magic, their own skills, their own, like, it's stupid to think that talking about that is racist.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Actually, species sounds worse in a way because it's like you're almost turning them into animals or something. You know what I'm saying? It's like a zoological classification or something like that. And I think that actually sounds worse to me personally. I think it's, and the monsters are kinder, gentler monsters. The orcs are people too. The orcs have families now. It's like, fuck orcs.
Yeah, and the Rings of Power. Yeah, the orcs are worried about their families. Yeah, that's bullshit.
Fuck them. I don't care. They're monsters. They're fodder. They always have been fodder. Like, if you want to have a kind, compassion...
Yeah, but don't you want to be blind in your fantasy, too? No. No, I don't. I really, really don't.
Orc in your group, because, that's an interesting storytelling thing. That's whatever. You make up some rules for that, but I don't think there needs to be an official statement on it. Orcs are bad. They're not black people. If you think they're black people, you're stupid.
Yeah. If you think that an orc is representative of a black person, then you are the problem.
And you're probably a bit racist yourself.
Yeah.
If that's what you see. No, they're fodder, right? To me, they're fodder.
They are.
Changes to D&D, which gamers commonly called, I just call it D&D. The changes to Dungeons & Dragons, which gamers commonly call D&D, may fit into the corporate world's pursuit of diversity, equity, and inclusion, but they're also part of a financial strategy for Wizards of the Coast. So they're doing damage control.
Of course they are. Of course they're doing. They have to do damage control.
Players responded tepidly to the 4th edition of D&D back in 2008, when the game was more of a punchline than a blockbuster movie premise. Well, the movie did not wind up being a blockbuster, did it?
No.
It did not. The Big Bang Theory was not yet television's highest-rated comedy, and the cultural phenomenon of Stranger Things, whose 1980s...
Fuck the Big Bang Theory for making nerd culture cool. Seriously.
Characters are fluent in D&D jargon, was years in the future. This is a massive... It does a massive disservice to D&D, I think. Stranger Things. I love Stranger Things. I watch with my kids. I love it. The game they're playing, the game those kids are playing, it's not what Hasbro's selling currently. No. It's a very different game from a very different time. Right? It's so weird. Like, I think we got a bunch of tourists come into the hobby because they saw it on TV. They saw it on Stranger Things. It was kind of glammed up by Hollywood. We had the Hollywood celebrities playing tabletop games for a while. That was the whole thing, Will Wheaton and Matt Mercer and, whatever. And again, nothing against Matt Mercer. Will Wheaton, I think's mental, but...
Well, he is. Will Wheaton is mental. He's mentally challenged.
Matt's okay. I met him before. He's all right. But like, it changed the whole hobby. It was like geek chic. It wasn't the game that college nerds played, high school nerds played. No. It wasn't. It was like, oh, okay, now everybody wants to play this game, but they don't really know the rules. They don't want to really learn the rules. And they're a bunch of theater kids, so they just kind of like make it up as they go. And everybody's got super special powers, and everybody's got a tragic backstory. And like, hell, when I played my first character, I didn't think my character had a backstory.
That's funny. I can see that. I can see that. Like, you don't need a Shakespearean-esque tragedy of a backstory.
I'm just like a cleric. I like to fight the undead and whatever. That was my backstory. I fight the undead and whatever. The D&D audience was shrinking, said Jeremy Crawford, the game's lead rules designer. Luckily, we're saving it, guys. We're saving it. Yeah. He added the game was becoming so tailored to just one way of playing.
You're really saving the game with all this shit. Yeah.
That it was not feeling as inviting as we knew the game could be. Or, just hear me out. Hear me out. You could create a different game system for people that didn't actually want to play a game. They just wanted to role play.
That's there you go. There you go. Neon's got an idea.
Right? They didn't want to play a game with the rules. They just wanted to pretend they were... You could just create another game system. Because, again, I think D&D has become something completely different. Players desire greater leeway in creating their characters. Wizards of the Coast executives said in defense of the new rules.
Wizards of the Coast executives said.
24 Players Handbook is the fastest selling publication in company history, it said. And its new guide for Dungeon Masters is already in reprints. Okay, well, maybe it is. I mean, I don't know. A lot of people I've talked to said they're not impressed with it. And it feels like D&D is sort of on the decline. Anecdotally, it just seems like there's not as much interest in it.
Well, especially because of all of these woke agenda bullshit that's been going on, nobody wants to play it.
So I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I have to look at the numbers. I have no idea. In addition to its species, each character in D&D is assigned a class such as Bard, Druid, Rogue, or Wizard. During quests, the abilities and corresponding skills of characters manifest in ways that can complement or undermine one another. They have to explain it. 20-sided die, improv. It's like a game of make-believe, but with rules that are actually make it fun. Well, yeah, it was supposed to be, let's pretend with rules and dice. But it's more than that, too. We actually have rules, and people don't want to use the rules anymore.
No.
And so basically this whole thing is about defending all the idiocy at Wizards. Now, remember, this is a company that took the Red Box. And we did a video on this just a couple days ago. We actually had the author of the Red Box come out and say that, he wasn't real happy with how Wizards... I mean, he didn't really trash the new version of the game, but... he did say that he wasn't real happy with how Wizards was treating the OGs, and
that's very significant. If one of the major designers is coming out and saying, "I don't like how this is going on," that's not good.
And basically low-key calling them racists and homophobes and misogynists every time you turn around, because when they offer a classic TSR product, they put that disclaimer on it, which is kind of, dumb, but whatever. Mm-hmm. Whatever. It's, whatever. Yeah. So they didn't want to choose a dwarf to make them a lesser wizard. Well, that. Okay. The fact that your dwarf can be a wizard. I was there before dwarves could be wizards.
Huh?
Dwarves used to be kind of magic averse, right? If you wanted a non-human that could cast spells, you had to play an elf.
Right.
I'm just saying. Players who are frustrated by the recent revisions argue that the innate characteristics of the species gave the game part of its allure. Yeah.
I hate that they're saying species. That doesn't sound right at all. Like, at all.
Because you could kind of min-max stats, or you'd have to play differently based on, your race. Like, you can only go so far. If you're a certain race in a certain class, it did add, I think it added kind of pros and cons to choosing that character, but whatever. All the species are becoming humans with decorations. Yes, lamented David Cutler, a self-described grognard or veteran gamer who plays alongside Lassard at the Boards and Brews bar in Manchester, New Hampshire. Cutler acknowledged that the game's orcs, the malevolent dark-skinned creatures developed by Tolkien, have been associated with negative racial tropes in the real world.
No, they hadn't. At all. They have not been associated with negative racial tropes.
He said their innate traits, however fictional, have accrued authentic meaning over the decade. They said Cutler and others gathered at a house outside Manchester for Friendsgiving, and they played a gaming session. They said they're talking about a tabaxi, a creature with the feline appearance and night vision that one would expect of a species created by the Cat Lord. He's been adopted into an elven family. He's also a sorcerer. Being a tabaxi didn't matter. Then who cares? He'd just be a fuzzy elf.
Exactly. What's the point of that? What the hell? Since when have you been in here?
This is interesting. Okay, it's from Portland. Oh my God, this is all damage control. This is what this is damage control.
Exactly damage
Dana
control.
Ebert, co-founder of the gaming center pub TPK Brewing in Portland, I'm sensing a theme here, said that she sensed a majority of D&D players were responding positively to the changes. In Portland, in a microbrew, I'm sure they are. I'm just saying. Of course. Wizards of the Coast is catching up to its competitors. Apparently, she freelanced for Pathfinder for Paizo, the role-playing game by the company that has spoken of ancestry and heritage instead of race for several years. That is Pathfinder, though.
Yeah. That's a different game. That's not D&D.
They can do whatever they want. It's numerous things. It's not just this. Why are they zeroing in on just this? And they're many, many months late, years late to the party.
Yeah.
This has been going on for a while. And so what? Okay, so this is what I think. This is what I think is going on. Elon Musk got involved.
Yeah. And right now, anything that Elon Musk talks about, they're going to talk about.
They're doing damage control. What's the mouthpiece? The New York Times. Oh, what can we get them on? We think these people are racists. Let's make the whole article about species when it's actually numerous issues with D&D. And even outside of the game itself, the business practices of Hasbro. The OGL debacle. Is that mentioned in here? I don't know if it's mentioned in here or not. Hasbro basically giving the middle finger to its fandom. People being banned from Gen Con. The Pinkertons sent to a guy's house because he got some magic cards.
Pinkertons?
Early. Oh, no. We're going to make it all about race.
The Pinkertons over magic card. Are you serious? What the fuck?
So this is Jason Tondro, who worked on the 50th anniversary book. We talked about that. And, of course, they had that little preamble saying that, hey, back then everybody's racist, bunch of white guys, basically. I don't take those critiques seriously even now. People were pissed at him.
No. I bet they were.
He did write the preface. He said, I consider those people not worth listening to, so I didn't anticipate their outrage. In response to the comment, Musk posted how much is Hasbro. Musk did not respond to requests for comment about Dungeons & Dragons. Oh, for fuck's sake. Wizards has pressed forward in its push toward a more inclusive game. The company now suggests that extended Dungeons & Dragons campaigns begin with a session in which players discuss their expectations and list topics to avoid, which could include sexual assault or drug use. Or you could talk to your group, and if you know someone in your group has been through something incredibly traumatic, maybe you just don't include it in your game to be.
Yeah, just don't, like, because usually you're playing D&D with your buddies, right? So if you know your friend has gone through some bullshit, then maybe not have that particular subject matter in your game session.
A decent human being.
Yeah.
They're going to have a signal. You have to send a signal up. The crossed hands, which came from BDSM play, as I understand it.
Yep.
You can't just say, hey, I'm not comfortable with this, or hey, can we talk in the hallway, or you know what I'm saying? Here we go back to Robert. Kuntz, the designer and Gygax collaborator, said that while some topics ought to be considered off limits, it was a mistake to interfere with the implicit social contract that has sustained Dungeons & Dragons for decades.
Yep.
But, never mind. Don't listen to this guy who actually worked with Gary Gygax. But Akshay Arora, a software engineer and avid gamer who playtested the new rules, defended the policy. You're doing something for pleasure. This isn't a place where you need to be forced to experience something you don't want to go through.
Okay. But again, why do you have to write rules about it? Why can't people just be decent people to their friends and not play stuff like that? If
that's true. But you shouldn't force or put the expectations on people that this is how a typical session is run, right? I mean, we've always been kind of, at least in my groups, we're always kind of, loose with the rules sometimes to accommodate certain people or their experience, or just to make the game a lot more fun or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It is known. It is known by the players of the game that you can bend the rules a little bit.
Yeah.
You get to know your group very well. They become colleagues. They become friends.
Yeah.
I still have.
Or you start out with your group as friends already. You know what I mean? Like, it could just be that you're already friends.
Very good friends that, we used to game together, decades ago. We still talk all the time. And you get to know each other. And if somebody had something horrible happen to them, you're not going to put them through it in a game. It's a game, right? But this is so silly. So I love how we've literally got somebody who was there at the beginning saying, look, everybody knows this is stupid. You don't put people through traumatic experiences. It shouldn't be a hard and fast rule baked into the game.
No.
Well, a software developer who likes gaming disagrees.
So everybody should listen to this idiot software developer, right?
That's the problem. That the scene is overrun with people like this now. There is no respect shown to the OGs at all. Margaret Wise and Tracy Hickman, they wound up suing WotC. I don't know how that ended, but they won't part with Dragonlance. They're trying to milk Dragonlance too. Oh God, so stupid. So this is Damage Control. They're basically trying to be like, they are a bunch of bigots and racists. If you don't like the way the game's going, we're just trying to do it for, to make the game safer and more marketable to people.
We just want to make it safer and more palatable. That's all we want to do. Yeah, no. Go away. Go away. Okay. Let's take a look at this next video here. Reed killed Mortal Kombat 1, seriously. And it as much as I love the game, it kind of did. So let's take a look. Ah, yes, the sad music.
Greed ruined Mortal Kombat 1, and today you'll learn the full story.
Well, it it did.
However you feel about Mortal Kombat 1, love it or hate it, I think we can all see how divided the fan base is. Mortal Kombat's reputation has been comboed pretty hard by this game. In other words, many fans are upset about how this game was handled. From overpriced DLC to absurdly priced microtransactions, very grindy game modes, and so on. And honestly, it's a real shame because I think Mortal Kombat 1 has incredible gameplay and could have been the best Mortal Kombat game. But
it really could have. Had they released a full game with everything available, like crossplay already, and like just everything, balance, stability, it would have been a better, and not having such heavy microtransactions is the other big thing that killed this game.
Unfortunately, greed handicapped this game out of the gate, and that's no exaggeration. You'll see very soon how greed crippled this game from the starting line. You very likely noticed that my voice is gone. I'm going to try my very best to finish the video anyway, because
honestly, dude, I thought you had somebody guesting on your channel for this video. I didn't recognize that as your voice for a bit.
It's a very important lesson on how not to run a video game. Anyone responsible for the decisions mentioned in this video should never be allowed to touch any video game ever again.
Yeah.
Because whatever game they work on next is also going to be ruined by them as well. Even though the core elements of Mortal Kombat 1 are fantastic in my opinion, like the title of this video says, greed ruined Mortal Kombat 1. First up, we have the release date. That's right, the greed starts here. Because Mortal Kombat 1 was not ready to launch in September.
No, it was not. If I I would have been happy as someone who pre-ordered the game, I would have been happy waiting until November 2023 or even the new year of 2024 for this game if it meant a full game.
Nor was it originally planned to in the first place, and that became clear to everyone playing the game in those early days. The data in training mode was wrong, you couldn't even map the moves, the online did not work properly, there was no crossplay, even the story mode had glitches, and so on. The game was obviously meant to drop next year in 2024, but somebody up top, very likely the game producers, rushed it out of the door and forced it to release in September. And why did they do that? Because they wanted the money right away.
Yeah. They saw how excited everybody was when the trailer was released, and they wanted to capitalize on that.
In other words, they got greedy. I found a great article on GameFAQs that does a fantastic job explaining what likely happened to this game and why it was forced to release months earlier than originally planned. So feel free to pause the video if you want to, but to keep things simple, many other video games that were owned by the same company that owns NetherRealm and Mortal Kombat 1 had underperformed that year.
WB.
And of course, that looks really bad to investors. So now Mortal Kombat 1 had to drop early to make up those costs and make the earnings for 2023 look way better.
Yeah.
And ever since Mortal Kombat 1 was forced to drop early, NetherRealm has been playing catch up the entire time. Some of the game's week 1 issues would still not be fixed until many months later, like the crossplay feature.
Yeah, it took until spring of 2024 for crossplay, I think.
This was a terrible start for Mortal Kombat 1 because players were immediately upset. They were basically tricked into buying an unfinished game, all because the people up top wanted to get paid before 2024. Greed had already begun to ruin this game. Next up, let's talk about the costume prices. If you turn on Mortal Kombat 1 today, then the costumes cost around $5 or so, which is similar to other fighting games like Tekken 8 and also Street Fighter 6.
Yes.
However, it did not start this way. For the first few months of Mortal Kombat 1, these costumes cost $10.
Yeah, $10 or like 1,000 or 2,000 or sorry, 1,000 to 1,250 dragon crystals.
That's right, an entire deck of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, or at least that's the price I paid as a kid. To put it another way, if you bought only 6 of these costumes, then you would be purchasing the game a second time.
Yeah.
Whoever's idea it was to charge this much, you managed to upset all of the players all over again. And if I worked at WB, you would be replaced immediately. But sadly I don't, which means you're free to make more dumb dumb decisions like this in the future. So hopefully you work on a different game at the very least. My fingers are crossed you'll be working on a different genre. Stay away from fighting games. But I digress. Charging this much for skins right out of the gate made the message very clear. Mortal Kombat 1 was all about money. This game's main priority is to earn those dollar bills. And as mentioned earlier, it's because other games owned by WB had flopped terribly, and now Mortal Kombat 1 is expected to cover those costs.
Yeah. Because, like I said, they saw how hyped everybody was for the trailer. And they were just like, oh, we need to earn that money now. We need to get that money now.
And I want to make the record clear. I do not think that NetherRealm was responsible for these prices. I really don't. It was likely one of the producers or managers. You get the idea. So do not get mad at NetherRealm about these prices. Get mad at them for waiting an entire year to buff Natara and Havoc. Alright, but now time for a funny side story. At one point, Mortal Kombat 1 announced a new holiday-themed stage. Johnny Cage's mansion was going to get a Halloween makeover. It was completely free and also looked really cool. So as a result, fans were excited until they learned it was only temporary. That's right, originally this new stage was going to be for a limited time only, which means once again the fans were upset. This game could not get any cheaper. The costumes way too expensive, any DLC way too expensive, and the free stuff only temporary. Now thankfully somebody with a brain saw the outrage and fixed this problem by making the stage permanent. And
yeah, you can choose the Halloween themed Johnny Cage stage anytime you want.
That's great, but it has me wondering, why was the stage temporary to begin with? Did they plan on charging for this later on in the future? I bet they did. I would not be surprised if the original plan was to give us a taste of this new stage, then take it away and bring it back, but this time you have to pay for it.
Yeah, I would definitely follow that logic as well. I think they took the Halloween stage away and they were planning on charging for it, like they did with the holiday fatalities.
Ooh, that's right, little gamer. Did you enjoy that Halloween stage? It can be yours again. Just spend money this time. My voice is already going. This is not good. But then we have the holiday finishing moves. That's right.
Check your logic.
Mortal Kombat 1 was charging us for finishing moves, which had been done before in Mortal Kombat X, I think. However, the prices
$2.50 skins. Yeah, that would have made sense. That would have made a lot of sense, actually.
Were much lower, or possibly even free. My memory is not the best. My point is, DLC finishing moves were not a new idea, but they were very lowly priced, so nobody cared. But not this time, baby. $12.
Yeah.
That's right, $12 for just one of these bad boys.
Yeah, $12 for one holiday fatality.
But get this, the backlash from fans was so fast and so swift that the price got dropped immediately.
Yeah.
Players were raging out all over social media, and it actually worked this time.
It did. I think they bundled them all into a pack for $12. But if you just wanted to buy one of them,
if you paid $12 in advance, you would get all 3 of the holiday finishers instead of just one. But keep in mind that 2 of them were not even available yet.
The rival skins are insane. How much are they? How much are the rival skins?
Queen finisher, which was also frustrating. Just charge $2 or $3 for finishing moves individually as they arrive. Don't be greedy and demand the players buy all 3 of them at once. Because when you do that, it sends a clear message that all you care about is money. These holiday finishers are not for the fans at all. It's just a fast way to make money by overcharging those same fans. This was another massive blunder for Mortal Kombat 1. Everyone earlier who bashed the game for being greedy and anti-gamer had just been validated, and anyone left who did still trust the game was having their faith tested. So now
it really it was hard to defend Mortal Kombat and not be called a dick rider. And of course they're like, oh, you're such a NetherRealm dick rider, when NetherRealm wasn't the one doing this.
Now we come to the final nail in the coffin. If you thought $10 for one costume was crazy, then hold your breath. And if you thought $12 for one holiday finisher was crazy, then hold on to your butts. $50 for the DLC. bundle. New story mode, 6 new characters, and a bunch of new costumes. Everything fans wanted, and also what this game needed to keep itself alive. And all it cost you was $40.
Yeah, unless you're Canadian and then it cost you $60.
That's right, and depending on where you lived, it was even more expensive.
Yep.
Well, surely we can buy the characters separately, right? Nope, you gotta buy all 6 of them right now. Otherwise, you're waiting months until you can play any of them. And by the way, players didn't even know there'd be an option to buy the characters separately later on, because NetherRealm never mentioned that, and WB never mentioned that. Or in other words, for all players knew, if you wanted to play any of these characters, then you had to buy the entire DLC bundle. There was no way to play them separately. Okay, well, what if I want to buy story mode separately? Can I do that? Just buy story mode? No,
Nope.
Of course you can't. You have to buy the entire bundle. If you only want to play the story mode and don't care about these DLC characters, then too bad.
Yeah, too bad for you. There's no option to just buy story mode. You have to pay for the entire bundle.
Gotta pay for the whole thing or get nothing at all. And the same thing goes for the new costumes. There was no way to purchase any of this content separately. It was all or nothing. Pay the $40 or get no new content at all. Yeah, this was the final nail in the coffin for Mortal Kombat 1. Nobody trusted this game anymore.
No.
The producers had made their message clear. This game would never offer fair prices for anything. It was all about earning them money. NetherRealm tried to fix things as best they could by offering lots of free content afterwards, but it was too late.
Yeah, it was by that point it was just too late, and everybody had a taint and like a bad taste in their mouth.
The damage had already been done. Most Mortal Kombat players already had their faith beaten to a pulp. Even players today who are waiting on Combat Pack 3 are still woefully aware of how expensive it's all going to be. And just like before, there likely won't be an option to buy the characters separately. And the same goes for Story Mode Part 3 and also the costumes. All because the people up top who control this game want money above all else.
Yep.
Even if that means permanently damaging the game's reputation.
And that's the sad part, is that this game, the way that it was handled and the way that it was treated is going to be it's going to have damaged the reputation of the game for forever, unfortunately. And it's very sad because it's a good genre, it's a good title. It's really sad. All right. I think that's all that we've got. I covered everything that I had pulled up. Yay, me! Okay, I'm going to go put my kidlets to bed, and then I will be back on Twitch to play some Diablo for a bit. So please come by over there and hang out with me, and we'll have some fun. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. Thank you for watching. Please consider going to patreon.com/blindpress and becoming a patron for even just $1 a month. It would greatly help. And I will